Hey everybody, I know this is kind of a different video, but for people who are wondering about like damage and how to understand it in raid terms, this video is for you, and this is basically just showing my knowledge on how it works and everything. Now, I'm not a professional. I'm not gonna like show what weapon is amazing against the Guardian, and who knows, it probably would get nerfed anyways, or there's probably something way better. But just looking at me killing these mole miners, I'm not doing crazy amount of damage like you might expect me of like doing like 800 or something like that. And now this is a flamer, I'm not going to be doing that much, but still, either way, I'm not doing super like top-notch damage, which is perfectly fine. Now, my set of power armor is all troubleshooters, and that's maybe what you should be looking for when you're putting a 1-star on your power armor set. And it doesn't have to be anything exact, actually, because I used to use Union power armor, which I didn't know was actually better for the snake, but for just basic everything, the minus 2% damage from ballistic weapons aids you in not like being a bullet sponge from that like it's shooting at you, and the 7% incoming damage is also great. But adding up the troubleshooters makes it easier for you to not spam your stim packs, because I'm also using the medic pump on my torso, which you get from the Secret Service, and you just trade your gold bullion for it, and it just helps save my stim packs. It helps me so I don't have to spam my stim packs like I used to, because it's not really that helpful when you just have to constantly click the right D-pad, which is my hotkey, in order to use my stim packs. But as I go in here, I will show you how I'm actually able to do so much damage, because I am using the Enclave Plasma Flamer, which does a heck of a lot more damage than that regular Plasma Flamer, but it is optional. You could use the regular Plasma Flamer, just a little tad bit less more damage. But right now I only have 24 intelligence, which is pretty bad. And for most of the time, you'll see builds prioritize on intelligence levels, and that's why many people are doing a lot of damage, is because they're using buffs just to give them more intelligence. So mentats, berry mentats, daddio, excel, a lot of those just give you basic intelligence buffs. Because right now, after my 2 other teammates just locked and gave me a bonus, I gained 2 intelligence, which is really good before this boss fight. And when I pop my mentats and my daddio, I'll be at 29, which is really nice considering I was just at 26. Now, this method I'm going to show you, I will talk about soon on why people stand right here, and it's basically kind of a showcase before I show you how I'm doing this, and it's showing you my damage. So right now I'm crouching, I'm hidden, I'm sneaking, and he didn't see me at first until I shot him. So that's kind of a thing you should notice before I acknowledge that and tell you how it works and what I'm doing to do this. Now, I'm not doing a lot of damage like a lot of other people will be doing with this, but I am pulling off maybe 5,300, I think was the max I just did. So that, oh, I gotta reload. Usually I don't have to reload because I have more intelligence than this, but I don't have enough teammates, or I don't have my power armor set filled with intelligence boost. But that's like a lot. It gave me enough XP because of my intelligence, which is also a good trade. But by giving myself more intelligence, the perk I use, and a perk that everyone should be using, if you're not using it, I don't know where you're at right now, but with their changes of the perks of science, my Enclave Plasma Flamer does way more damage than it would be doing if I didn't have science. Because right now, if you look at it, I'm doing 91. Well, let me show you better. If you look at the bottom right, I'm doing 91 energy damage. And that lightning symbol is energy damage. But say I accidentally take it off and I don't remember where it went. Me unequipped it, equipped it. I'm doing 58. That is significantly like lower than 91, even though it doesn't seem like it is. That's 33 damage, energy damage lower than I was just doing. Which in terms of damage, that's not that low. But in DPS standards, so damage per second, DPS on a boss is more important than actual damage on it. So basically, like, say if you had 20 rounds in it, yeah, I wouldn't be doing that much DPS damage to it. But if I had like 120 and was not letting go of the trigger, I'd be doing a lot. And with that plus 33 damage, that gives me so much time to kill it, because I'm doing more damage in more fire rate seconds. And that's what matters most, is that many people aren't using the things that buff their weapons. And what I mean by that is by looking over here. Hold on, not this. Perception, which is where all the range weapons are. My Enclave Flamer, or just the Plasma Flamer in general, will count as range damage. And these buffs, so Downranger, my 20% range damage to far enemies, my 20% more damage per crippled limb, because the fusion core in the back, when it's broken, it counts as a crippled limb. 40% armor, that you don't really need that one, but I'm talking mainly about more damage in general and specifics, because the weak spot damage is going towards the torso. So these two right here actually work together, because this is giving me 25% more critical damage, and this is giving me more damage when I attack the torso. And when I was fighting the boss, I was aiming down. Using VATS kind of kills you a little bit easier, because if you're not using a scope, it makes it kind of harder, because, let's see, like this one right here, you deal more damage if you're aiming down the scope. You really don't need VATS for a flamer in general, because it's a flamethrower and you're just aiming in one direction. But you should take advantage of the scope weapons, stuff like that. Not all of these even give you like that good of buffs when you are looking down a scope, but the smart shot is super helpful when using the Enclave Flamer, or just a Plasma Flamer in general. And since it's a rifle, that helps because it's a ranged weapon. And I also use Hitman's, which also gives me 25% damage while aiming. So that's 50% more damage while I'm aiming. That is very good. But you're also wondering, where does the other damage come? Because even just using that knowledge, if you use that yourself, you're probably not going to be doing as much as I did. And I'm not even doing a lot. So that's what comes in as me crouching, like earlier as I mentioned, because that counted as sneak attack damage. And when I was crouching and right after I broke its armor, I waited a split second and then I started shooting at it. And that's what gave me more sneak attack damage. When I use covert operative, it gives me 50% more sneak attack damage. And it's the sneak attack damage is 1.25 more damage, times more damage. But since it gives me 50% more, that gives me, I mean, it's 70% more. I'm getting 2.25 or 2.50 more damage while I'm sneaking, which is a lot because that's multiplying my main damage by 2. So I'm trying to crank out as much energy damage as I can to defeat the Guardian. And I'm doing 80 on this. That sounds not as good, but when you put it in the fire rate and how fast it shoots, its DPS, and multiplying that damage by 2, which is 160 DPS, that literally makes it so that I could shred through it in maybe one magazine. Usually I can, but since I'm not trying to squeeze out as much intelligence as I can, I'm not doing as much damage, which kind of sucks. But that's where my Furious also comes out, because I'm also trying to squeeze out more damage through my Onslaught stacks, because I gain 5% more damage per Onslaught stack plus 9, which is already 45% more damage. And with the ones I already have in here, I gain 3, so that is 60%. 60%, that's 85% more damage because of my Furious. Now, I don't use, reverse Onslaught, because it's kind of annoying, but I don't have enough space in it. But that literally is making me do more damage even though it doesn't show it. Just because it doesn't show that it's doing that much damage doesn't mean it's not powerful at all, because this is a prime example of that. And another thing, by taking advantage of these legendaries, a lot of the time you won't pay attention to these. These help big time when they're maxed out. These aren't maxed out at all. I'm gonna try to max this one out later, but right now I'm all set. But this is helping with my sneak damage as well. I'm doing 20% for 10 seconds, so 20% more damage afterwards. So when this is maxed out, this is gonna reach 50%, I'm pretty sure. And also taking one for the team. The boss gets more damage because I'm using my buffs, my perks, and I'm using what category does this fit in. Looking at the description at the very bottom, it's energy, scopes, and rifle. By using ranged, so perception, intelligence, and a scope. So my scope on it, helping me do more damage while aiming. And literally my Furious on it. I do not know why I have better criticals. I'm not even using that. Let me take that off. But I am doing so much more damage because of these things. And you should be taking advantage of your chems and what you have for it, because this build isn't like the most amazing build ever. It's not even like that good, because like I'm just using one that a lot of others use. But with my power armor, I also have plus intelligence, plus 2 intelligence right there. Plus 2 intelligence because it's database. And I'm using my mentats. I'm using everything that gives me the slightest bit more damage, because every piece of damage is what matters the most. And that's what a lot of you should look at, because when I use my flamer, my holy fire, by looking at, let's see, where is it? Deal Sealer. My flamer is putting the on fire impairment on the boss, and that fire is still carrying out when I'm pulling out my Enclave Flamer. Now, my Enclave Flamer doesn't do fire damage, but since the fire still lasts long enough, I can use Deal Sealer, and I'm still going to do a lot of damage to it. And say I put Pyromaniacs on my Enclave Flamer. Like, even though I'm not cranking that much damage, I still am pulling out 20% damage to weak point. I don't have Pyromaniac, so that's why I'm not using it. But I know for a fact that when I fight this Guardian, I'm doing fire damage to it still technically. So I'm going to do 50% more damage if I do have Pyromaniacs on. And that's what you should be looking at. I think these guys want me to join their team, but I'm going to look at it a little bit later because I have a video to show. Just going to go it this way. Sorry, you guys. But, oh, I'm overcumbered. But let me show you one more time. And by using the stuff I just explained, I will show you bit by bit what is happening throughout this boss. And that's what a lot of like people showcasing their weapons and stuff miss out on. They don't show you how they're doing that much damage. They're just showing you their perk cards and their legendary mods, which does not help at all. It does not help me at all when I try to look at them. So it gets annoying when you're not doing the same amount of stuff as they're doing. So that's why I'm trying to help by showcasing why I'm able to do it and how I'm able to do it.
This is an automated message. Evacuation is in progress.
So right now,
Please proceed to the nearest exit in
I'm doing
an
plus
orderly
26. I mean, I got 26 intelligence. That's not good at all. But if I was back at my camp right now, by using my, what's it's called? My mechanical derby, that gives me plus 2. And by using my cultist, my Mothman pair, it gives me another plus 2, which increases my intelligence by 4. So I'd be at 30. But by popping my chems, I'm at 31. So that's
Alert.
9.
Unauthorized personnel detected. Activating.
With my flamer, I sit right here just so I can get close enough. I'm only sitting here just because this doesn't reach close enough. As you saw probably before, I wasn't actually reaching it. I had to step forward a little bit. But don't step too close because this ground becomes electric. And look right now. He didn't know I was there. If I didn't shoot him, he probably wouldn't have noticed I was there until I did shoot him. And by using Ricochet and using my heavy weapon, it's just deflecting back onto him. So it's kind of like you don't need to use bats to shoot him. And since I have a medic pump, I'm automatically stim packing, which is really good. So right here, I'm really close to this, but don't get too close. But if you look right now, I'm doing 52,000 damage. That's because of my intelligence. And you see my sneak attack, I just did 2.5 times more damage, which is really nice. And your damage per second will fall off slightly. And oh, I did not finish him off. That sucks. But also, when you're aiming down, it gives you more range. So that's another thing that you should also be looking at. So I try to explain it all I can. I can maybe show you how, like, I'm trying to explain it in the comments if you have any questions on like how, because a lot of the times it's when you try to comment that I'm not doing enough damage, people will just say that, oh, maybe it's just because they're using buffs all the time. And yes, that is true. Everyone is cranking out a buff that they're getting from doing their like camp items, their magazines, their everything, and that's what's carrying them. So I hope this video helped, because it's awesome, like showing what my understanding is, but I'm trying to teach you the complexity of what it is. And with that, I hope you guys have a better raid run than what you're probably suffering with right now. But this guy's trying to party up with me. But have some good raid runs, and try to talk to you guys in the next video. See you guys.